Second week in Advent, and this is the second day, Monday. The fires work, and he shall purify the sons of Levi, that they may offer unto the Lord an offering in righteousness, based on Malachi chapter 3, verse 3. The house of King Solomon, son of David, had goldsmiths, gold beaters, and refiners aplenty. Gold was so abundant in his kingdom that silver had little value. It was said that silver seemed as common as stone. The great and small came from many lands to ask Solomon for his advice and to listen to his wise words, and they paid him in gold for what they had heard. Solomon's trading ships brought back gold from the fabled land of Ophir. Kings paid him tribute in gold from the mines of Egypt, Africa, and Arabia, mines whose locations are lost, but whose names remain. Once, perhaps, the goldsmiths knew the whereabouts of the golden lands of Havilah and Sheba, Ophir, and Pavrame. Certainly King Solomon's goldsmiths would have known that the gold they prepared and purified for the king's golden throne, for his warriors' golden shields, and for his golden goblets and spoons, that very gold had been refined and separated from tons of rock through natural processes or through the hard labor of thousands and thousands of slaves. Scattered, far-flung, above and below the earth's surface, gold lay pure, never rusting, bright and shining. It was there in stream beds as gold nuggets, washed up from below the earth's surface and separated from rocks and gravel, through the tumbling and washing of water. It was there as tiny flakes in the sand or dirt, recovered only by the long, tiring, and dirty work of prospectors who swirled and washed the dirt to separate out the gold. And I think a few of us, Debbie and Jamie, I think you guys, but I know Richard, me, and Braden did in Chicken, Alaska with Doug and Judy. So when you see gold, it's unmistakable. It's so shiny and just stands right out from all the other particles in the water. And it is there deep below the earth, running through the rock like miniature golden streams. The slaves of Solomon's time could only get through back-breaking work. In the mines, they broke the rock with hammers or cracked it by throwing water on rock faces that had been heated by fire. Then they pounded and crushed the chunks into tiny pieces that could be washed to separate out the gold. Even then, the gold that came into King Solomon's workshop was not perfect enough. It was not the pure gold, the refined gold that was required for the most precious works of art and worship. The gold from those pieces had to be purified and refined further until it was entirely gold. Because gold melts easily and is nearly 10 times heavier than water, it was purified by fire. The melted gold would sink to the bottom of the cup. The impurities would rise to the top, where they could be easily removed. Like the goldsmiths of Ur, Egypt, Nubia, Troy, and Greece, Solomon's goldsmiths could beat and hammer gold into incredibly thin sheets to cover wood objects so that they looked like solid gold. They could spin pure gold into thin threads and weave it into Solomon's royal robes. The goldsmiths, gold beaters, and refiners of King Solomon's kingdom spent their lives to bring gold forth in purity fit for a king's use. Gold was one of the gifts brought to Jesus by the wealthy Magi who followed his star. Gold is valuable because it is rare, beautiful, and hard to mine. Hard to mine, not mind. If all the purified gold from all time were melted together into one cube, it could fit within a baseball diamond. I did not know that. Doesn't seem like that's very much gold from all of time. Gold does not rust or tarnish. An interesting story about that. At one of our jewelry stores locally, they had some of the treasures that had been brought up from the ocean's depths from a ship that had sunk off the coast of Florida or, North or South Carolina, somewhere down there. And it was called the Atocha, Atoca or CHA. And they had this video running, and it showed when they found these gold bars. And all the other stones had barnacles on them and things like that, but the gold did not. It was so shiny on the floor of the ocean. And I spoke to one of the people who actually did some of the treasure hunting, and he said that by far was the most spectacular thing that he saw when he was gathering the treasure, was just how untarnished that gold was over the years. And the other interesting thing is they had a real emerald, and they were a lot more opaque and not as pretty as I thought they would be. But it's an emerald, so who cares, Ugly, I'll take an emerald. Thank you very much. But, all right, let's see, where was I? Gold does not rust or tarnish. You should look that up on YouTube about the Atocha. The silver jewelry found in ancient tombs is black with tarnish, while the gold objects still shine brightly. Gold can be formed, shaped, and stretched like no other metal. A piece of pure gold the size of a sugar cube can be pounded thin enough to cover the floor of a small room or stretched into thread 50 miles long. With heating and reheating, silver and iron and copper become unmanageable, but gold can be worked and reworked, melted and remelted, stretched and beaten over and over. It never loses its glitter or its obedience to the hands of the goldsmith. Gold is found in the dirt. It is made fit for a king through breaking, heating, beating, and stretching. The Apostle Peter, a friend of Jesus, wrote that our faith is of greater worth than gold. And that is a quote that really stood out to me after reading all the refining process for gold. Faith is the only gift that we have to offer God. Gold or bribes, he does not need. Faith seems such a poor gift, so little of it pure and so much of it rubble. But God lovingly accepts our gifts and makes it an offering in righteousness. He will purify us as a goldsmith's fire refines gold. He will work for our good through all the sadness and trouble that come into our life, and that hurt so much. And when he tested us, he will come forth as gold, pure and precious, not by our power, but through his grace. Test me, O Lord.